Good morning everyone. Today we'll see the concept of electrostatics. Electrostatics. The very most important concept of electrostatics is Coulomb's inverse square law. So first we'll see what is the need of taking Coulomb's inverse square law. See, we have two types of charges. One is positive charge and one is negative charge. When two positive charges, or we call them as like charges, or two negative charges, also called as like charges, when two like charges are kept together, they would repel each other. When two unlike charges, either a positive, negative, are taken together, then they will be attracting each other. Now, the Coulomb's inverse square law will talk about the magnitude of force with which these two charges either will attract or repel each other. So here we'll see the statement. The force of attraction or repulsion between two charges Q1 and Q2 separated by a distance r is directly proportional to product of the charges inversely proportional to square of the distance between them and the last one is this force will always act along the line joining the center of two charges. So here whenever two charges, let's take Q1, Q2, let's take two charges, either positive or negative. I'm just taking the charges as Q1 and Q2. When these two charges are separated at a distance r, so this distance must be taken with the center of the spheres, not from the diameter of the spheres or the circumference. We just have to take from the center. When two charged spheres Q1 and Q2 are separated by a distance r, then the force of attraction or repulsion. If you are taking like charges now, we'll be talking only about the force of repulsion. If you are talking about taking two unlike charges now, then it is force of attraction. So F is directly proportional to, according to the first statement, proportional to the product of the charges. So F is directly proportional to Q1, Q2. And second point is inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them. So inversely proportional to square of the distance between them. Now combining the two equations, what we'll get? F is directly proportional to Q1 Q2 by R square. So in physics, if you want to remove the proportionality, now what we'll do? We'll always keep a constant. So here to remove proportionality, I'll keep a constant called K Q1 Q2 by R square. Here K is arbitrary constant, and its value will change depending on the medium. Here K is 1 by 4 pi epsilon. The value of this E, it seems to be like E, but it is called epsilon. Either you can write like this or as E. This is epsilon, called as permittivity. permittivity of medium. Now, if we take this entire setup with a medium as air or vacuum, then F is equals to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. So, this is epsilon naught Q1 Q2 by R square. So, this entire term will take as K Q1 Q2 by R square. So, thus K value is 9 into 10 power 9 Newton meter square per coulomb square. So, with this epsilon value, with reference to epsilon only we can calculate K. So, I am first writing K value and then epsilon. Epsilon is 8.85 into 10 power minus 12. So, what will be the units for this? So, the units will be coulomb square per Newton meter square. So, these two values are only with reference to air or vacuum. Therefore, F is K Q1 Q2 by R square, and it always acting along the line joining the center of two charges. Is it resembling any other law that we know now? It resembles the gravitational law of attraction. It resembles gravitational law of attraction. So we know gravitational, right? In order to represent the difference between the two, I am just writing F as Fe, electric force. So gravitational law for force of gravitation I am writing as Fg. So what is the gravitational law? G m1 m2 by r square. So this law talks about the attraction between two masses separated by distance r, whereas this Fe will represent the force of attraction or repulsion between the two charges. Now we'll see the limitations of Coulomb's law. What could be the limitations for this? So limitations now, there are some drawbacks for every law or everything that we are proposing. Like this, for Coulomb's law, there is only one limitation, or first one is point charges. Point charges. So this law is valid only for point charges. Point charges now, when the linear size, when you are taking the size of the charge or a sphere, charge sphere, if you are taking the size in one dimension, if that size is smaller than the distance between the two charges, then those charges are said to be point charges. Point charges are resembling a single point, or a point appears to be a point when comparing the distance between the two. So we have two kinds of charges, point and extended. So this Coulomb's law is applicable only for point charges, not for extended charges. And second one is applicable only for charges which are at rest. As I've already told, Coulomb's law is very important in electrostatics. Electrostatics are nothing but the study of the fields or forces of stationary charges. Stationary charges are nothing but charges which are at rest. So this Coulomb's law is applicable only for the charges which are at rest, or either of the charger is at rest. Either of the charge is at rest, but can never be applicable to the two charges which are in motion. If both are in motion, then we cannot apply Coulomb's inverse square law. Able to understand? Now, we'll see importance of Coulomb's law. So first of all, Coulomb's law is just talking about the magnitude of the force of attraction and repulsion, right? So what is the magnitude of force of attraction or repulsion? That is given by K Q1 Q2 by R square. The value of K depends on medium, which implies F value. I am just writing as Fe. The electric force also depends on medium and is maximum when the value of force of attraction or repulsion between the charges is maximum when the two charges are present in vacuum, or you can write as space. Now we'll see the definition of unit of charge from Coulomb's law. So what have we written? If I am taking the distance between the two as 1 meter and the force of attraction or repulsion I am taking F is equals to 9 into 10 power 9 Newton. If both are of the same charge, if I am taking two charges of equal magnitude, then what will be my condition, or the equation will be K value obviously 9 into 10 power 9 Q dot Q into Q by R square. So these both get cancelled. Q square is equals to 1 implies Q is equals to 1. Either you can take plus or minus 1, it's our wish. If it is plus or minus 1, it would be force of attraction. If it is both plus 1 means it is force of repulsion. Now Q is equals to 1 means unit will be Coulomb, which implies if a force of 9 into 10 power 9 Newton acts between two charges separated by a distance of 1 meter in vacuum, then the charge is said to be 1 Coulomb. So Coulomb, the value of 1 Coulomb is a very big charge. For representing the charge of a bodies or otherwise, we'll be using nano Coulomb or micro Coulomb. Nano Coulomb na it will be 10 power minus 9 coulombs. Micro Coulomb na it will be 10 power minus 6 Coulomb. Now we'll see vector form of Coulomb's law. So here in Coulomb's inverse square law, we'll be talking only about the magnitude of the force, but force is a vector. Force is vector, so I have to represent both magnitude and direction. So how will you represent the magnitude and direction? F is equals to K Q1 Q2 by R square into you have to represent the direction. Now we'll see how will you represent the direction of the vectors. Let's take Q1 Q2. So this is R. So if two charges, let's take this as positive and this as positive. Two positive charges are kept together now. Q1 will repel Q2 in this direction, right? So this can be written as force on 2 due to 1. Able to understand? So here initial final. So we are going from Q1 to Q2. So it will become R2 minus R1 bar in this direction. Now if the same thing is happening, plus Q1 plus Q2. If Q2 is repelling Q1, F 1 2 bar. Force of 1 due to 2. Force acting on charge 1 due to charge 2. If again the same distance R is considered, then how will you write this as? This is final and this is initial. R1 minus R2 whole bar acting in this direction. Now how will you write the electric force? K Q1 Q2 by R2 minus R1 whole square. Instead of R, I am just writing as R2 minus R1. The magnitude will remain the same into unit vector R2 minus R1 cap. So here we will be writing as K Q1 Q2 by R1 minus R2 whole square into R1 minus R2 cap. So unit vector, now how will you write a unit vector as? Unit vector is A cap is equals to A bar by mod A. So R2 minus R1 whole square is nothing but R square. This is just for your reference. Now we'll say how this can be written as. F is equals to K Q1 Q2 by r square into, what have we written? R2 minus R1. R2 minus R1 bar by mod of R2 minus R1. This is force of 2, 1 bar. This is force of 1, 2 bar. So it is force on 2 due to 1. Now K Q1 Q2 by R square, R1 minus R2 bar by mod of R1 minus R2. So it is force on 1 due to 2. Able to understand this? Now if I just replace, let's take this equation. If I just replace 1 with 2, what I get? F12 bar R2 bar by mod of R1 bar minus R2 bar. If replacing 1 with 2 and 2 with 1, what will we get? K Q2 Q1 by R square, R2 minus R1 bar by mod of R2 minus R1. So what will we get in this equation? Nothing but F21 bar. The thing is, both are in opposite direction. Here we have just changed, no? So instead we'll have this minus. So which means F12 is equals to minus of F2. Therefore Coulomb's law obeys Newton's third law of motion. What is Newton's third law? For every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. If charge 1 is repelling charge Q2, then Q2 will also repel Q1 with the force of same magnitude but in the